Hello everyone, it's Em from the Blue Wave Path, and this is day one of the Self-Love Challenge. If you're new to the Blue Way group, welcome. If you are a seasoned veteran of the Blue Way group, welcome. And if you've been here a little while, welcome. Big inhale. So self-love, as we all know, is incredibly important, and sometimes it's hard to tell exactly, what work is it for me? What do I need to be doing? How am I not loving myself? How am I loving myself? And all that stuff. And we all clearly know that this is not something that you make or break in 5 days. Not at all. But this is the Blue Roof, and you are Blue Wayers, so you know that we're going to jump in. We're not going to tread water. We're going to swim right into those deep rivers. So you'll notice behind me that there are pictures of me when I'm small. I'm going to move out of the way just a little bit so that you can see a little bit more. This is a combination, because you can tell I'm wearing my red. It's my moon time. So this is a combination of my moon time and my self-love altar. Now that is something that I recommend for you guys to put together some space. And now I have, the great opportunity to be able to have a full-on altar for this, and you may or may not have that. So it doesn't have to be this elaborate, and it could be more elaborate. You get to decide what's the best fit for you. So I do encourage you for these 5 days or longer to build yourself a self-love altar. And that can look like whatever you want it to look like, and it can correlate to whatever spiritual practice you have or whatever theology path you walk, or if you don't walk one at all, it can be whatever it needs to be for you. So this is a good time of year to be doing it, because there's Valentine's decorations everywhere. I'll go ahead and tell you that you don't have to spend a lot of money on this. So if you think, oh God, I don't have the funds for that. Let me give you a quick little run through of some things on my altar. So there is a pink scarf right here. You can't really see it right now because of the light coming through, but there's a pale pink scarf right here. It's actually a, I can't think of what it's called, pashima maybe, scarf. There's another one that's a brighter pink right here. I got them both at the Goodwill for $2 each, and if you catch Goodwill on a good day, they're half off. So be sure to check that. This is also a white scarf, a pink one. So I have to figure out where I am. This one. It was also from the Goodwill, as was this one. It's a deep, my camera's flipped, so we're over here. There we go. This is a deep burgundy, more crimson color red. They all came from Goodwill on the same day. Trust me, if you will go to the Goodwill or another thrift store and go through their scarves, you will find all kinds of things. I have a lot of them, and I don't go buy them new, and I don't spend a lot of money on them. Just make sure that you look at all of it, like unfold it, look at it, because some can have stains, or some can have tears or snags or pulls in it. So all of this came, all the scarves came from Goodwill. These hearts, you can see them there, and there are a couple right here, pink and red hearts. They're paper. They came from the Dollar Tree. All right. These multi-tiered colors, Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree. This candle, which by the way smells absolutely amazing, I'm going to be posting a photo of it before I took the wrapping off on my Instagram, which is also at the Blue Roof Path if you're not following that. This smells absolutely amazing, and it is the most perfect noontime candle. It's very spicy smelling. It's an Indian. That's the name of Indian something. But I got it on clearance for like $3 at Burke's Outlet. And let's see, this tray, it's actually metal, Dollar Tree. All right, this doesn't have to be a big deal thing. What you can't see off to the side is some roses, and I actually bought the roses last week, so they're actually starting to droop a little bit. But I'll move the camera a little bit. You can see them even if they're drooping, because I want you to see the vase that they're in, the vase that they're in. There we go. All right, so these are, I'm going to save all these and dry them. That's why I haven't taken them off the altar yet. And this is a glass vase that has love written on it that also came from the Dollar Tree. So trust me when I say you don't have to spend a lot of money. Now, I have crystals on this altar. I have mainly rose quartz because we're dealing with love. I also have an amethyst. And then I have a specific quartz crystal that I use for inner child work. And in this very moment, I cannot remember what this is called. So the crystal that has this little baby one growing off of it, there's something that's called, and I'll look that up so I can tell you. But that kind of stone, it seems like it's something about a bridge. But this kind of stone with the little one coming off of it like that naturally is an excellent stone for inner child work. So this is my quartz that I only use for inner child work. And then some stones I'm working with right now in terms of my heart space, I have on the altar. Those could be very different for you. So I have ruby and leucionite, and ruby and an obsidian. So I also have a little sword that represents Archangel Michael for me in terms of cord cutting. And I have that over here on the altar that has some family pictures. So they're from when I'm very young. And they're pictures that are hard for me to look at. My childhood had domestic violence. And those are pictures where you can see, if you know what you're looking at, if you just looked at the picture, you think, man, is that person, is she sick? I'm talking about my mother. Is she sick? What's going on there? And no, she was in a victim cycle with my father. And so those images are harder for me to look at. And in deciding to do a self-love altar and have pictures of myself as a child on it, I knew that it was time for those photographs to be on there, because I'm working in my life right now to break those cycles, the victim cycle, codependency cycle, the cycle of stopping the programming for what I was modeled. So much of my adult life has been living off of the programming from what I learned as a child. And that's not self-love. Big in hell. So part of my self-love challenge for myself is to not keep repeating the patterns. So if you are called to create yourself a self-love altar, I highly recommend it. I encourage it. And I would love to see it. So if you're going to do that, it can be as elaborate as this, and it can be something as simple as a red washcloth that you lay down for an altar cloth, a red kitchen towel, a red towel. You may even have a red shirt that you just lay across something. If you don't have a space where you can lay a cloth down, then it could be a red piece of paper that you just put on the wall and write self-love on. You don't have to have rose quartz. Maybe you're not drawn to rose quartz. You do you. But for me, these next few days, this is a visual representation of what I'm going for. That self-love is not about the adults we are now. Big in hell. I'm going to say that again. Self-love is not really about the adults we are now. Self-love is about her and her. Let's see. And her. And I'll even show you one of the most painful photos for me. And her. Because if we are not loving ourselves today, it has to do with old wounds. It has to do with old programming. It has to do with what we are believing about ourselves that they believed about themselves at those different ages. Now, if you are in the Blue Independence series in that group, this is going to go right along with that work. And if you're not in that group and want to be, you can still join. We've been in it a little over a week maybe. And it's fine. You can always go back and read the posts that have been posted or watch any video that's been posted. And we actually haven't had a lot of videos in that one yet. So you can still join if you're called. If any of this is kind of stirring some stuff up in you and you think this is very similar, this is speaking to me, then Blue Independence may have something for you as well, because we're going deeper in this kind of thing there. So that is still open for registration if you want to join. So if she didn't believe that she was worthy of love, if she didn't believe that she deserved love, if she didn't believe that she was good enough for love, you won't love you now. Because if she's still believing that in there, whatever age it is, you can't possibly do it now, really. So this 5-day challenge is about, yes, us the adults looking in the mirror and saying, you deserve love because she did. Because this one right here, I can see the writing through the light. I'm 8 months old. 8 months old. And a whole lot had happened in my life in those 8 months. Already, things had happened that taught me that I wasn't worthy of love. 8 months old. So my healing doesn't have to do anything with the almost 40-year-old woman. It has to do with that 8-month-old who didn't believe that she was protected, who didn't know what was going on. It's not her fault. She didn't do anything wrong. And it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. But it is time to go back and tell them the truth. Big inhale. So clearly, I've talked about building a self-love altar, and you can see that there are pictures on mine. Yeah. Go find some of your baby pictures. Even if you have to just print them out on paper in black and white, if you don't have any printed. I have different ages, because our inner child, our inner wounds, is not just one age. There are lots of ages. My encouragement is, as you're going through photos, just breathe. Don't try to pick the perfect photo. Let your inner knowing, let the inner wound, let the inner child tell you. That's how I picked these photos today. I let my higher self, my intuition, and the wound speak to know what needed to be on this altar for me right now. And this one back here is just this representation of all that sass. So what this tells me is that she was okay. She doesn't look sad necessarily. There might be some of that because she was seeing a lot of things. But she was still okay. She was still strong. I'm probably 2 maybe here. She was still sassy. Little foot kicked out to the side. What's also hilarious about this photo to me is this book right here that I'm so defiantly standing back from is the 10 Commandments. So that's hilarious to me. She's okay. And I can love her now and give her what maybe she didn't get then that she needed. Are you willing? Are you willing to love your little you and your little yous different ages and give them now what they needed then? Because that is self-love. You're worth it. She's worth it. I'm glad you're on this journey with me. Namaste, friends.